And a good morning to you. Glad to have you in here on I want to say Wednesday morning. Happy Valentine's Day to you. Glad to have you here with us. Just a couple of things I want to mention, and then I'm going to have an interview that I did with Tim Wilcox from Wrestling Evolution just in a bit. Let's see. A couple of things came out yesterday from ESPN I thought were kind of interesting. Kyle Shanahan has reportedly said that they made overtime plans before. There's a lot of talk about the players didn't know the rules. Well, guess what? Players shouldn't have to know the rules. That's a coach's job. Coach should be in complete control of that and what he wants to do and how he wants to do it. So, I don't think you could put any blame there. But they said they had already made some overtime plans before the overtime occurred. And I can understand why he did what he did. You got to make those decisions in the moment, just in the moment. You can't just – I don't think that's something you could analytically say. I think it's something that has to be done in the moment because you don't know where your team is as far as which one was the last one out there. Did you come through a long series on offense to tie it? Did you come through a long defense to keep them from scoring to put you into overtime? I just don't think that's something that you can do. So I think you have to look at that on a game-by-game, moment-by-moment kind of thing and find out what you want to do. One of the other things that I wanted to mention, the UFL, which is the New Spring Football League, and that's the United Football League, they have elected to discard the most prominent rule innovation from the recent spring, which is the kickoff. The kickoff this year will resemble a traditional kickoff formation rather than what they did in the XFL, talking about some on-field rule changes that they have made. They said they will provide a lot of safety information. They'll watch the safety of it and decide if they need to make something change or a difference as the season goes on. Here's what's going to happen. The kickers will line up at the 20-yard line, a position that will limit and possibly eliminate the potential for touchbacks, similar to how the USFL played in 22-23. The XL version that was used shifted the majority of players between the opponent's 35 and 30 to limit high-speed collisions, placed the kicker on his own 30 to encourage a return. No one other than the kicker and the returner could move until the ball was fielded or it was on the ground for 3 seconds. It achieved return rates of 90% during that season. I guess just have to look and see. An alternative to the onside kick in which a team can retain possession in the fourth quarter by converting a 4th and 12 from its own 28. Now, I liked it that you can do it anytime so that you don't do the onside kick. Defensive pass interference will generally be a 15-yard penalty unless it's judged to be intentional, in which case it will be a spot foul if it occurs more than 15 yards downfield. I like it and I don't like it. You're going back to a very subjective call based on what the official sees. Replay officials can stop a game at any point if there's reasonable evidence that an officiating error was made on a reviewable play. Now, the only thing I don't like about that, all plays should be reviewable, not just reviewable plays, and the official should be able to stop it anywhere. Player safety rules are subject to review at any point. In the last 5 minutes, any ruling, whether on the list of reviewable or not, can be reviewed if it's obviously incorrect and has a significant impact on the outcome of the game. Why just the last 5 minutes? Why is just the last 5 minutes the only thing that's important? Don't get it. Coaches get one challenge per game. In overtime, teams will get alternating attempts to score from the opponent's 5-yard line in a best-of-3 format until a winner is determined. No kicks are allowed. Kind of like that one a little bit. In an effort to encourage fourth down attempts and limit coffin corner punts, the UFL will consider any punt that goes out of bounds inside the 25-yard line as a touchback, and the spot will be at the 25-yard line. Kind of takes the emphasis off that, super-duper punter that can pin those things, hit a nice wedge, I guess is what I would call it. So that's the changes coming up for the UFL. And the other thing, record $185.6 million was wagered during the Super Bowl at Nevada Sportsbooks. That's the state sportsbook, the most ever. The amount wagered eclipsed the previous high by $6 million. The state's 182 sports books, that's inside Nevada, got a $6.8 million win on the game as bettors held their own for a second straight Super Bowl. Pretty good. And I guess you do know just before the ACC tournament, which is first weekend in March or somewhere thereabouts, sports betting will be legal in North Carolina. So go ahead and get ready for that. The other thing was the Super Bowl set TV ratings records with 123.7 million viewers. Goes down as the most watched program in TV history. Okay? It averaged that, 123.7, across television and streaming platforms. Shattered last year's record of 115 million and with a 7% increase. They released the figure early Monday night. The game was also televised. It was televised, of course, on CBS. That was their main partner. Nickelodeon, Univision, and streamed on Paramount Plus. I can't talk this morning. As well as the NFL's digital platforms. I also said Nielsen set a record of 202.4 million watched at least a part of the game across the networks, which is a 10% jump over last year's. Now, I'm not convinced that that is the Taylor Swift part of it. I'm not sure that they can get all that credit to Taylor Swift, but whatever they want to do. All right, let me take a quick break. Come back. Tim Wilcox will join us, and we'll talk a little bit about his next show that's coming up for Wrestling Evolution. It's down at the Cross Country Playground, and they're back in action for 2024. Back in a moment.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stiefel Nicholas can assist you. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stiefel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. And welcome back to the Bottom Line. Lanny Ford along with you here. As we do each and every month, we like to make sure we take a listen and see what's going on with Wrestling Evolution. Tim Wilcox is here with us. Tim, thanks for joining me this morning.
Yes, thank you for having me.
You know, when we look at it, you started a brand new year. You had a show back in January, and we were talking before we went on the air. We weren't able to get you on, but you were a little concerned because of the weather and just, you know, how if people would continue to come out. But it sounds like you had a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, we had a good crowd. The Playhouse was packed. Our fans came out in droves, lined up at the door, actually. Our diehards were there, and we had new faces, obviously, too, just come to check out our product, and they left. They were not disappointed, let's put it that way.
That's awesome. So next show is coming up this week, and it will be this Saturday night down at the Cross Country Playhouse.
Correct.
And give us a little rundown on what's going on this month.
We will have, last month we started the tag team tournament. This show we will be crowning the first ever inaugural tag team champions. That match will be taking place between the Allen brothers and the other guys, two of the fan favorite tag teams. We also have several debuts. Justin Kindred, he filled in for Mason Allen last show. He will be taking on the psychedelic sweetheart, Stephen Meeks. John Matthews returns to action to take on local fan favorite Peterbilt. We have the Dante Khalifa, who is the Ascension contract winner from December. He will be taking on the up-and-coming rising star in Diego Hill. We have Amish Country returning to take on a debuting Yabba Dabba Daddy and Tyler Foshee. Mason Allen will now get his title match in the Legacy Heavyweight title match against the champion Tommy Okami. We have a debuting Leah Knight versus Caitlin Marie in women's action, and then a debuting the Loaded Guns Ken Magnum will be taking on newly crowned heavyweight champion Don Furio.
Sounds like you've got some new talent that's coming to the area as well.
Yes, I try to bring in some fresh faces every single show, and let people see what kind of talent the Carolinas and beyond have to offer.
I know one of the things that we talk about a lot is how it's almost like what I consider local wrestling is sort of making a return, a resurgence. Of course, everybody knows if you keep up with anything that's in the headlines, there's some things going on in WWE that are not painting a pretty picture for that organization. And there's a lot of ugly stories that are starting to come out, and you wonder if fans will kind of migrate back over to what they got started on with local shows. I talk about it with NASCAR all the time. NASCAR was great when it understood who its audience was okay with its audience, and the audience and fans appreciated and supported them. And then when it kind of went nationwide and it took it out of its footprint a little bit, they didn't support it as well, and some of the luster came off of it. And I'm wondering if that's not going to happen with wrestling, and some of the local promotions will start making a comeback.
We'll certainly hope so, especially for Wrestling Evolution, because the campground's not the only place I wanted to take this promotion. Obviously, I want this promotion to grow and become bigger, and it's better for business. It's better for the guys and gals to, as a whole, for us to get bigger and better.
And that's what's going to happen. Do you foresee a time in the, I guess, not too distant future that you'll be able to, and the community will be willing to support more than a monthly show?
I've had several fans talk to me because I'm on the lookout for a building to to run out of permanently,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe take the show on the road every now and then. But I said it could mean I would have to run possibly twice a month, and I've had several fans say, well, they're all for it.
I was going to say, if you continue to keep it on the road, 2 shows a month in 2 different locations, you're kind of exposing your product to a new audience, because there again, it becomes kind of a local type thing.
Yes, but we are looking to expand. Coming May 11th, we're going to be at Bandy's High School for a big show. We were able to nab that gig, and then we're also looking at expanding further out. All those are like preliminary phases, obviously.
Right. But you've got you're going to have some of the, I guess, local fans, since you're already down in that part of the county with Catawba County and Bandy's High School. And, we've talked about this before as well. Wrestling in high schools and armories and those type things is how wrestling got its start and what made it what it was, so that when they went to a place like Greensboro or Raleigh or Charlotte, they had the 20,000 fans there because they had the local connection. I think I told you when I was in high school, you could pack a high school gym with no problem, with lots of ringside seats, and then the bleachers were full because fans watched it on TV and then they wanted to experience it in person.
Yes. Well, I mean, the local promotion like my own is it's really the backbone, if you think about it. I mean, these guys don't just go, the majority of them aren't going to WWE or AEW or New Japan or the other, NWA still around. They have to start somewhere, and it's a promotion like Wrestling Evolution that they get that beginning, and then of course they branch out to other places. Obviously, they travel the roads and try to get their name out there, and then you just never know who's going to be at the show, and a talent scout isn't going to be like, this guy's got something, or they're going to hear something and they go to there and then you're like, okay, let's go check this person out and see what they've got. And then they end up getting, Lucky Ali, he just recently signed with WWE, and he is next to last date was with us, and he's with WWE NXT now, and he's traveling on the road. He's doing their shows that NXT runs in Florida that you don't see on TV. But he's working his way up to appearing on TV. There's another guy he went by Jay Malachi in the area, and he was a phenomenal talent, and he got signed on by WWE. And then one of our guys, our champion Don Furio, he just had a tryout recently, and that's why I encourage people to come out and check out a local show, because you're paying my $10-$20 now, and you're up close and personal, and you pay $20 at one of their shows, and you're way back in nosebleeds.
Well, and that's where, it's always been, even going back to when it started, it's almost like a minor league, for lack of a better term. That's where you get your cut, like you do with the G League and the NBA, or like minor league baseball, whether it's Hickory Crawdads or Charlotte Knights. Those are guys that you see, and then they've always come through a different area. Very few players go straight to the NBA, go straight to Major League Baseball. They've got to get the ground roots support and really get evaluated to see if they are that kind of top-tier talent. And I guess it's nice for you to see some of these guys that maybe you've kind of helped discover or promote, and you've seen something, and yet, it's kind of like when teams lose a coach to a bigger school or a bigger team. It's really a compliment. If you lose a talent that goes WWE or NWA or something more regional, then that's got to be a feather in your cap because you saw them first. Yeah,
it's a win for them. It's kind of a loss for us, but at the same time, it's a win for us, because then I'm not saying, and I'm not taking any credit for like Lucky Ali's where he's gotten at all. We got lucky, pun intended, that we were the next to last date for him.
Right.
But he was making a name for himself for several years, and he was grinding and hustling and
what it takes,
and doing whatever he could to make it, and he did it. He's one of the few that can, and then but when I go to these local shows, and because I attend them. I don't even tell the guys that usually wrestle on my show. I don't even tell them I'm going to be there. I just show up, but I'm there to scout talent and say, okay, does this person have a fit for Wrestling Evolution? And because I've got a standard that I keep, and the standard of how I want things to go. And am I 100% correct every single time? No. There's times I've brought some people in, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe it ain't the fit that I thought it would be originally. But, and that's a lesson learned on my part. And I'll keep learning, and I'll keep grinding. I'll keep hustling, because I want Wrestling Evolution to be the premier destination for wrestling fans.
Now, tell me about, we got this weekend coming up. We'll run down that lineup in just a second. Future dates?
Future dates after February 17th, we got March 16th. That show will be called Breaking Rules. Then we come back again April 13th with Danger Zone. And then May 11th, of course, we are at Bandy's High School with Unleashed Aggression. And then we'll be beginning in June. And I should have had the June date. I think it's June 8th. Yes, June 8th, we begin the Evolution Cup tournament. It's going to be 16 individuals taking part in a tournament, and that stretches out over 4 months. We'll have eight participants on June 8th, plus a few other matches. And then the other half of the bracket will come back in July, and then those 8 winners will come in August. And then the semifinals and finals will take place in September.
Okay. Now run down the card for this weekend.
And this weekend, For the Love of Wrestling, February 17th, 2024, at the Cross Country Campground, 6254 Highway 150 East in Denver, North Carolina. That is presented by Air Force One Heating and Cooling of Hickory, sponsored by Second Time Around Comics and More of Conover, Lake Norman Hemp Company of Denver, and the Untouchables of Denver. That night, you got 8 matches on tap, fans. You're going to have Justin Kindred versus Stephen Meeks, John Matthews versus Peterbilt, the Dante Khalifa versus Diego Hill, Amish Country versus Yabba Dabba Daddy and Tyler Foshee. Mason Allen gets his legacy heavyweight title shot against the champion Tommy Okami. Leah Knight versus Caitlin Marie in ladies action. Ken Magnum gets his shot at the newly crowned heavyweight champion in Don Furio, and we will crown the first ever Wrestling Evolution Tag Team Champions as the 2 winners of the last matches. The Allen brothers take on the other guys.
That's awesome. You're starting to get some championships, some belts out there, got something to compete with, and I know you put a great show on when you're out there. So I appreciate you letting us be a part of what you do. Don't forget, it's this Saturday night, guys. You want to show up at Cross Country Campground in the Playhouse. It's not hard to find out on Highway 150. Thanks for coming by and joining us.
One other thing, if
yes,
they bring small paint supply items, I knock $5 off the adult ticket price, and those items will go to the local organization UMAR down in Lincolnton.
Okay.
And they have people with special needs that do paintings.
Uptown. That's uptown. That's exactly right. Thanks again for joining us. We'll take a quick time out, and we'll be back with more here on The Bottom Line.